We made a little list here. We're going to talk about 5 songs and stick to the end of the video for the 5th song, which is actually a surprise track that we just discovered today, and we're very hype about it.
Well, the first one is a cover by Leo Moracchioli, and I probably butchered that name completely.
Well,
so
on Spotify, his name is just Leo.
So it's just Leo, yeah. He's a metal cover artist, covers of metal. He's pretty famous on YouTube for that, and I love his song Feel Good.
Yeah, it's originally made by Gorillaz, right?
And it's called Feel Good Inc. I would actually think the whole name on the track, it's not just Feel Good, it's Feel Good
I think
Inc.
it's just Feel Good.
Isn't it Feel Good Inc?
Yeah, I searched for the Feel Good Inc. and I found it that way, but
I think it's actually Feel Good
we're
Inc.
gonna put the original title down below.
And it's such an amazing track. I think it's so cool. He has this thing, he always puts he makes the song a lot longer than they normally are, because he makes it a pretty
something unique in his own way and puts it into the track.
Yeah,
right?
he makes the whole track pretty standard rock and roll cover, and then in the middle he puts his own little thing in there. He often changes the chord progression completely and makes solo. He put a banjo in there.
Banjo.
A freaking banjo.
He was like, you know what this track needs? A banjo solo.
Everything needs a banjo solo. I love that he has a lot of those kind of there's always a little scream here and there.
Yeah.
And he also has a lot of extreme vocals, a lot of growl, underlining his clean vocals. He's singing the most of the song with a pretty clean vocal.
Yeah.
But when you listen for it, underneath he has that really growling voice too. And that's a fun way of using extreme vocals, using growling vocals, because normally you would take the growling and put it in front. But he actually uses it a little bit as a chorus throughout the song. Yes,
exactly. Yeah, and if you're struggling to resemble what is extreme vocal, we did a video where we improvised with one another to create 3 other tracks. If you want to watch that video, click the little thing above Andy's head here. It's good. It's good. It's really good.
But yeah, it's basically extreme vocals are often referred to as growling, distortion,
screams,
stuff like that. That way you really push your voice with a lot of raspiness.
Let's dive into song number 2 by Our Last Night. They created a cover of Astronaut in the Ocean by Masked Wolf. I think
is that what it's called?
Astronaut in the Ocean, yeah.
That's the name of the song.
Yes.
You know that famous TikTok thing that's going around with
Astronaut in the Ocean.
And it's not called Rolling in the Deep.
No, that's Adele.
Yeah, but that's what he sings.
What
you know about, all the
rolling down in the deep. Yeah, that's the first line of the track.
And that's not what it's called.
That's not Adele, and it's not what it's called. No.
Yes. Pretty damn cool track.
I really love how when we're listening to the original track by Maswell, how laid back it is, and it's a classical, a hip hop genre beat, and what standards you would expect from a rap track. Yeah. And then you hear Our Last Night just throwing all of that out the window and create something entirely different. They kind of reinvented the song, in my opinion.
It was a different approach they chose. I wouldn't have expected a cover like that. It had a lot of new age screamo metal, kind of emo metal.
It kind of took us back to the 2000s.
It had a lot of that. It had, if you think Escape the Fate or whatever, it's kind of like those kind of vibes, right?
It actually has those vibes. But they're actually doing it pretty well with the speed. They're singing very fast. Even the screamer, what do you call it, growler? I don't know what you're gonna call it. The extreme vocalist is definitely having talents going on by doing it in that pace.
Yeah, it actually seemed it was a little sped up.
It feels sped up, but I don't think it is.
It was.
I don't think it is.
Did it change a lot of the way that they sing the lyrics, pronounce the things, and so it may just feel a little sped up because when you draw out certain words,
it is hip hop, and we've seen other examples of rap been executed with screams with other artists. I'm just feeling that Our Last Night is doing it very, very well when it comes to the speed and the general pronunciations of the words.
If they hadn't, sung the lines that the song is pretty famous, or what you know about Rolling, etc. If they hadn't sung that, I probably wouldn't even have realized what song it was, because I felt like the verses and the whole thing was just, they had changed so much. It was so different. It was literally just the chorus that made me realize, oh, it's that song.
Yeah.
But of course, when that whole blah blah blah, trying not to get demonetized, but when that rolls around, you of course know.
Yeah, and guys, who has the liberty of owning that sentence? Is it Adele? or is it Masked Wolf? Place it down in the comments down below.
Because, like, actually, every time I hear that song, I just automatically think, oh, yeah, that's the Adele song.
But
Even
no.
though I'm completely not listening to Rolling in the Deep by Adele, I just automatically go to Adele.
And while you're down there in the comment section, hit that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. Let's move on to song number 3. You showed me that we've been talking about Jonathan Young before.
Yeah, we have.
He created something I haven't heard, and I was blown away in a very positive way.
It's a couple of years ago now. I think it's 6 years ago. He made this cover with a guy called Toxic X Eternity.
Yes.
He is a musician, guitarist, I would probably refer him to as, but he also sings and growls on this cover of Prince Ali. I think it's just the way that Toxic X Eternity, I think he's called Jack, the way he does it, it's just so violent.
Yes.
It just sounds blood curling when he goes into that.
It kind of sounds more like it's the cave that's singing this. It's not really the genie that sings these parts. It's the cave.
Yeah, that's what you mean, of course, yeah. And it almost feels violent. It feels like it feels like that's gotta hurt in some way. So it's a very
diamond in the rough.
So yeah, it's a super cool song. It's very, very different. I think it's not for everyone. I think a lot of people who will hear it would
We're back with the blah, blah, blah.
would love it, but I also think it's kind of a love-hate thing because that growl he puts on Prince Ali, it's very different. It gives a very different vibe to the song.
Definitely.
I think a lot of people would also feel it would be a violation against a classical Disney song.
We might even prefer this one.
I really love it.
Disney 0, Jonathan Young 1.
We grew up with the Danish Disney voices, so I can't even like relate to the English.
It's kind of people are reinventing these classics.
Yeah, I actually think it's so difficult with the. We grew up here in Denmark, and we of course listened to a lot of the songs in Danish because these songs were actually translated.
Yeah,
Danish artists and stuff like that. They had other voice actors on. That's a thing that I find very difficult because I know that Robbie Williams did some of the Aladdin. He was the genie.
He was the genie,
like that. And I prefer the Danish one as it's much better. And I know I'm gonna get in super much trouble
and
for that.
Then again, because I grew up with the Danish as well, but I never really loved Disney. It's kind of weird because there's a lot of music in it, but it's musical stuff. And I'm not really a fan of musical stuff. I've seen so many Disney classics. It's kind of like the law is in the millennial code. You kind of have to watch these movies.
Yeah, it kind of is. Kind of is. You're supposed to love Disney, and if you don't love Disney, something's wrong with you.
At least you have to know about these movies, and you have to at least know the songs for some reason.
Yeah.
It's kind of like saying to a millennial, so have you watched Jurassic Park? No. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's move on to song number 4. Escape to Fate is a band that I've been falling in love with ever since the beginning of time. And they've been putting out one hit after another. They created a track called Smooth. They made the cover of the Smooth track.
Yeah.
That was Ricky Martin, right?
It is Ricky Martin and Santana.
And actually Santana, yeah.
I believe it's Santana who plays the
So they made more
guitar.
tracks with Santana.
And I know you love that one.
Yeah.
I do too. But there's one part of that cover that I always, now that I've heard it, that is dangerous. Playing Santana's guitar solo.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't know why, but that's even more dangerous than making like a cover of a Queen song. It's the same kind of
dangerous territory.
It's just because Santana is such an iconic guitarist, and when they play it, you can hear it's not Santana playing it, though they are covering pretty exactly what he's doing too. They're playing his solo and his licks on the money of how it's supposed to be played, but you can just hear. It's not Santana. It's kind of a dangerous thing to play around with such iconic guitarists.
But the question is, would you have preferred if Santana actually featured himself on this track and played the guitar riff once again?
Yes, I would. I would have preferred they just took it. So that's kind of like the only thing I had with it. But like, it's such a cool track. It's such a cool cover. But it can be dangerous.
What I really love about this track is that even though it's not Santana playing it, they kind of took the riff and made it Escape to Fate sound like. They took such an iconic riff and kind of pushed it into their genre and their style.
Yeah, I just wish they would have done even more.
I really love how this track even suits Craig Mabbitt's voice.
Yeah.
He actually suits him very well.
I actually would have wished they had done even more with the solo. Just, I don't know, more Escape the Fate. It's actually the only one where I really love the cover. It's just the Santana part that's kind of bothering me.
Yeah.
Because it's such a difficult thing to do. Like, it's like playing Eddie Van Halen solos. You can't do it. you just can't. Eddie can play Eddie.
Yeah,
Nobody
Eddie.
else can play Eddie. And it's kind of the same thing.
Oh, we're talking
with
Eddie from
this.
Stranger Things now.
No. I guess that's why it's just such a cool cover. But I guess the Santana solo part is kind of throwing me a little bit off.
I just wish Escape to Fate did more covers. Like
yeah,
this
they're
one.
so good at it.
I think they featured this track on an album with Pop Goes Punk or Punk Goes Pop, or I think it was Pop Goes Punk. I even think there was festivals created in with this particular genre description. If it doesn't exist, create it. Please, and put my name on it. Let's move on to the surprise track that we just discovered today while filming this and preparing for this top 5.
It's very, very...
We took the fifth track, threw that one out, and took the surprise track and said, well, this is gonna be it. The band is called Melody Fall, and they took one of Mike Shinoda's tracks from the Fort Minor album called Remember the Name and made is it a pop punk cover?
Definitely not pop, but more like...
It has extreme vocals in it, that's for sure.
I thought it had like a Blink-182, Sum 41 kind of esque feel to it. It was really like young punk rock, you know.
Almost like if we imagine Good Charlotte with the anthem.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
kind of that
too,
energy, but it really has fast-paced. They're not dragging any words. I'm not taking anything out of the song, just putting their own vibe onto it, and I really love that. I never heard about Melody Fall before.
Never.
So that's new. We discovered a new band. We discovered a awesome track, a new cover, and I already put it on my playlist. Yeah. Melody
Somebody
Fall, everyone. Melody Fall. That's the surprise band. It's the surprise track. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to watch our review of Cold Rain Caught Me, click the video down below.
Yeah.
And remember to subscribe. It really helps out the channel.
Absolutely.
Bye.